My brother started going to the gym about 10 months ago, and because I've got 5 years of experience under my belt, he's asked me about 10 million questions about the gym since then. Looking back at all those messages of his confusion, I realized that not everybody has a person to ask about this stuff. So as a certified Gym Bro Academy graduate who's been in every shoe, I present to you
Gym Ball Knowledge, Beginner Edition.
Bro, I'm not seeing any gains.
This does not mean that your genetics are poo-poo or that the gym isn't meant for you. This phenomenon is known as newbie gains, which basically means that your body isn't used to this kind of new stress, and therefore it just gives you 100 times XP multiplier for your muscles to adjust to the newfound challenges as fast as possible. Once that's done, you gotta actually show the body that it needs to build more by lifting heavier and or doing more reps each workout, also known as progressive overload. Sadly, this does mean that progress will slow down now, since your XP boost has expired. It usually starts slowing down about 6 months in, and can last up to a year. You can realistically put on about 15 to 25 pounds of lean muscle during this time period. After that, it slows down to roughly 6 to 12 pounds per year. But don't be discouraged, this is still substantial progress, and you will definitely notice the difference. But all my schmuck brother heard was the "you have to lift heavier" part of this whole ordeal. So not too long after, I received another message.
Dog, how do you remember every weight and rep after every session?
Bro really thought that I keep every workout logged in my brain. Yet this is a pretty common mistake amongst noobs, which is not tracking their workouts. Unless you're Albert Einstein, you are not remembering every weight and rep of every set of every exercise you did about a week ago. Most of us can't even remember what we ate for breakfast this morning, thanks to doom scrolling. So to combat this and actually make real progress, you must write down what you did and simply try to do better each session. Then, when you reach the upper end of your rep range, which is usually 8 to 12 reps, just up the weights a little and repeat. For even more satisfying gains, I've seen plenty of gym tracking apps that make it feel like you're leveling up in a video game. But you can use anything from the fanciest apps to the simplest notebook and pen. If you're not doing this, you're missing out on serious gains. And the absolute buffoon I have for a brother still only heard the lift heavier part. So the next message I received was,
If I go heavier, my form gets shittier. Is that okay?
this might seem like the logical next step for going up in weight, but there are much smarter ways to go about it than ego lifting. 90% of the time this leads to injury sooner or later, and since you're not doing the same clean rep twice while ego lifting, it makes it harder to know if you're actually progressing. So do this instead. Let's imagine you're doing lat pull downs, of which you do 3 sets at 150 pounds, and you're trying to reach 12 reps for each set until putting on more weight. But you got stuck at 12, 10, and 9, and you just can't seem to progress any further. This is where the word dynamic breaks up the progressive overload couple and makes it a polygamous relationship between dynamic progressive overload. Basically, instead of trying to up the weight instantly, you only up the weight for the first set. So you do 8 reps at 155 pounds, and then the other 2 sets you do at 150 pounds, until you reach 12 reps on one of the sets once again. This might seem complicated at first, but in practice it's pretty simple. I explained the lat pull down example to him, to what he nonchalantly replied with,
I usually skip back. Oh, and legs too.
"This one's classic, but from the bottom of my heart, I cannot stress this enough. Do not skip muscle groups you hate doing. I learned this lesson the hard way, and now I'm working towards making my legs catch up to the rest of my body, because I only trained legs once a week for years, while doing double the volume for upper body. You could probably live with being called chicken legs once in a while, but muscle imbalances can actually cause you more serious problems, like posture issues. I know this sounds like mom or dad scolding you to do your homework, but if you don't put in the work, you're going to regret it later on and end up still having to do it if you're serious about lifting. But on the flip side, there's an even bigger problem.
I've been in the gym twice a day for the past month. Lock in, twin.
I hate to break it to you, bro Chacho, but there's this little teeny tiny thing called overtraining. I know your TikTok feed is just the Sigma Grinds at Andrew Tate fanboys telling you that if you skip just one day, you're automatically going to become obese and the huzz are going to run away from you. But in reality, it's quite the opposite. Building muscle is like building a house. First, you buy your desired land on which you're going to build by training the muscle. Then you buy the bricks by eating protein. And then finally you build the house by recovering while sleeping. And I don't know about you, but to me, the building part sounds the most important. What are you going to do with a bunch of land and bricks if you're not giving yourself any time to actually build? It might seem super fun to train very frequently during the honeymoon phase of going to the gym, and while it might seem that you're making much more progress, you're actually stalling your gains. Hit the gym 3 to 6 times a week and try to sleep minimum 7 hours a night, ideally 8 to 9 hours for real muscle growth. If you listened closely, you must have heard something about bricks and protein, which brings us right into the next question.
I'm eating steaks and eggs on a cutting board. Why am I not gaining muscle?
This one will be a hard pill to swallow for all my bros who are going from skinny to muscular. But you can be eating
calf, beef, liver, and onions, corny on the bob,
and still not make any substantial gains if you're not in a caloric surplus or at least maintenance amount of calories. By the way, to calculate it, simply Google calorie calculator. Going back to the house and brick example, you can buy all the land by training and building as much as you can by sleeping, but if you don't have enough bricks, the house isn't getting fully built. On the flip side, too many bricks and you'll be literally shitting half of them out. New studies are finding that you don't need 300 grams of protein per day to build muscle, like old school bodybuilders used to eat. But you still need at least 0.6 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So to calculate if you're eating enough protein, divide the number of grams of protein you eat per day by your body weight in pounds. And if you get less than 0.6, you need to up your protein intake. But even if you're starting from fat and not skinny, if you consume too much fitness content, you'll find yourself thinking,
Why is another guy my age so much buffer than me?
this question keeps people up at night. It doesn't matter how long you've been going to the gym. It affects me as much as it does any other person who consumes too much fitness media. The truth is that the people who got popular on social media from posting their physiques are nearly all enhanced. They claim otherwise, but most of the time they're just lying. And on the off chance that it's actually achieved naturally, it's the 0.1% of genetics. And most of us haven't won that genetic lottery. And it's impossible to reach that kind of physique without taking some black market XP boosters. Also, don't forget that you don't know their story. They might have been in the gym for years already, while you're still starting out. The key to not getting discouraged by it is simply looking at fewer half-naked men on your phone in your free time. But no joke, 2 weeks after I gave my brother this piece of advice, he texted me,
When should I start the cut? I want abs.
if you're skinny, a cut shouldn't even cross your mind for the first year of training. Bulking is the only way to go. Preferably at least a sort of clean bulk, to not completely f up your overall health. Of course, if you're already starting out fat, a bulk makes no sense. But don't rush the cut too hard. For the same house of bricks thing once again, I know that you're having wet dreams about having shoulder veins, but you have to be patient and build a real foundation first. And because we all lack patience in today's day and age, this is the next message I received.
Still not benching 315. I think my program is shit. I'm switching again.
If you're doing a switcheroo every full moon, you're just slowing down your gains. The split is usually not the cause for progress stalling, unless you're hitting some shit like head, shoulder, knees, and toes. But generally, this is a symptom of not applying progressive overload right. You should stick to a program for at least 8 to 12 weeks while upping the weights. Just trust the process and give it some time before blaming your split. Which brings us right into the next question.
Should I be doing a different split? This guy on TikTok said bro split is peak.
Split confusion is very real at the start of the gym journey. There is just so much information, you start to get flustered between all the programs and rep ranges and so on. And the best solution for this is very simple. Just pick one of the following and actually stick to it. Upper, lower, PPL, or full body. You cannot go wrong with any of these three. Adjusting the rep ranges for your goals. If you want to build muscle, do 8 to 12 reps. If you want to build strength, do 1 to 5 reps with longer resting periods. Go to failure, apply progressive overload, eat good, sleep even better, and I guarantee that you're going to blow the f up. And for a while I didn't get any more questions from my brother about gym stuff, and I got curious, so I messaged him.
How's the gym going, Lo Twin?
I stopped going like a month ago.
Sadly, this is the point where most people actually do quit. But I can promise that if you make it past this point with discipline and willpower, you will not regret it. The mind is always looking for ways to you over for some reason. But you always have the choice to ignore that voice and keep pushing. If you're feeling physically exhausted, have a week of lighter lifting. But most of the time, it's all in the head. So while you're building the house, don't forget to plant a tree of discipline. It will provide shade when it gets too hot, so you can continue making progress without excuses.
Hell yeah, brother. If you liked the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one next week, my brother. Hell yeah.